All right. Fetterman rips calls for impeachment after Iran strikes. Yeah, Al Green, that old frog that needs to retire. Another one, another 80 plus year old, close to 80, whatever his age is. But he's old as hell. And he, I guess, he called for an impeachment on Trump. Makes no sense. Let's get to it.
Find out the extent of the damage. We're going to learn a lot more about that. In the meantime, Democratic Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania, he is here to talk to us about all sorts of things. And one of the things I wanted to ask you about is many people on the congressional side of things, especially the Democrats, are upset that President Trump didn't seek congressional authority beforehand. They weren't always upset. Previous presidents have done similar things and targeted strikes like President Obama. How do you see that debate playing out over the next week?
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, I'm sure. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people in my party that are going to disagree with.
Where's he at?
In Iran, and I actually support that. I've been always calling for that thing. I think it was entirely appropriate. And again, there might be votes on that. So for me, that's not a war. That was a very limited military exercise, and it struck that, and then that's where we're at. So really, it really wasn't about unconstitutional or it's anything like that. It was like a very, very limited military engagement, and then it took them out, damaged them severely.
Yes, and so we're still getting that analysis. And, sir, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she has called for the impeachment of the president, saying that it's a disastrous decision to bomb Iran without authorization, a grave violation of the Constitution and congressional war powers. He has impulsively risked launching a war that may ensnare us for generations. It is absolutely and clearly grounds for impeachment. Two things really struck out at me from that, which is the impulsively risked launching a war, which I don't think there was, looking at all of the reporting, there's nothing impulsive about it. We've been having this discussion for many, many years, but also that it could ensnare us for generations. At this point, do you see that actually happening after the Israelis had done what they did before President Trump took this decisive action?
I'm sorry.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think
we might have some technical difficulties. Let me just ask you what you think about the possibility. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says the president shouldn't be impeached because he's impulsive. What do you think of that?
No, I mean, of course, no. She knows it. I know it. We all know it. That's not going anywhere. And, you know, he's been impeached twice, and now he's still our president as well now, too. So it's not going anywhere, and I don't think that's helpful. And I think if you throw that term around, that actually diminishes what the severity of what impeachment is really reserved for.
Exactly.
A Fox News poll that we had last week said that 78% of people are very concerned about Iran getting a nuclear weapon. And obviously, that would include many Democrats as well. Do you think there are people in your party that are willing to make a pivot here and say, good job to the military, Mr. President, you did the right thing. If we're going to do anything more, come to us to Congress? Or do you think that the knee-jerk reaction will prevail?
Absolutely. I mean, just because sometimes it's a decision that President Trump did. It's like maybe like reflexively you have to be opposed that. For me, again, I've been always calling to destroy these nuclear facilities. Now, let's talk about the context in the middle of all that now, too. Now, our party has been often wrong, and they were pushing for a ceasefire last year. And now Israel pushed through that and has broken Hamas and Hezbollah as well now, too. And now here it is right now. Israel has air supremacy over Iraq right now. And now here's where where Iran is right now. Their capabilities are severely limited. And now that was an entirely appropriate to finally take out those nuclear facilities.
Senator, my last question to you is about the hostages that are still being held by Hamas in those tunnels in Gaza. And we have an opportunity now possibly to have some leverage, maybe, to try to get them out. You have been stalwart in keeping focus on the hostages. Any message for them or to the president today on what you hope to see happen?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've kept the hostages up in my office ever since they've been taken there as well. I've had the honor of meeting with countless families and actual hostages as well too that have been held underground for over 500 days. The world seems to have forgot them, but I certainly haven't, and a lot of people in Israel have and is will too. Let's bring them home and let's hold Hamas accountable. And now let's never forget too, send them home and disarm, and all of the tragedy in Gaza would be over. Hold them accountable. Why won't the media and more people hold Hamas accountable for what they've done? And as well as Iran as well too. They're the ones that created those proxies. And that's also part of why it was entirely appropriate to take out their nuclear facilities. And that's why I'm going to unapologetically stand with Israel. I don't poll test that. It's for me, it's like I'm going to stand on what I know is the right thing and what's the truth.
Thank you for coming on America's Newsroom. We appreciate
Yeah, I mean, listen, this guy, I'm starting to like this guy. You know, Fetterman, he seems pretty sensible when he speaks. You know, he's still a Democrat. He's still a left wing part of the left wing personnel, I guess you can say. But he's very sensible. Makes sense. Some things you may agree, some things you may not. I mean, the whole attire thing, I never agree with, to be honest. But he did have his motives. I mean, he is allowed to do it. Well, it is what it is. You know, that's one thing I definitely disagree. You need to look appropriate when you are a part of Congress. But on what he's saying right now, you know, his party's wasting time. Again, you can do all the theatrics you want, but that's not gonna resonate with the American people. The American people know and voted for Trump for a reason because he touched their souls. He spoke to their hearts on what they needed. And the Democrat Party, all they did was attack Trump, and that didn't help at all, and it still doesn't help. So